grammar session. So I'm sure Shakti is with me. Shakti, hi.
Hi, sir. Good afternoon.
Okay. So shall we call this program instead of English grammar Shakti and me? Because only we both are here, right? I know, just kidding. I know there are others who are going to listen, and it's going as a recording to everybody as well. And we have quiz as well, where I'm sure many are participating, right? Around easily 15 at times, even more than that. So that's a good number, right? So that is what it is. And okay, so let's begin. I had some login issues, so finally I'm here after that new change, right? And where the through layer of security, I have a lot of problem where I'm getting logged off. Anyway, so let's begin. So Shakti, after noun, today we have pronouns, right? So so this is what we are going to do. And so pronoun is another very the next, right, of after noun. What it comes is like pronouns. And so the stuff is like these are very basic stuff as far as English is concerned. And so when we started with language, and then we started with grammar, and then we started exclusively on noun. And we also spoke about exclusively about common noun and proper nouns and stuff like that. And we also spoke about why you should identify the proper noun, how do you capitalize this, and what are the things. And we talked about few other things as well, a few other capitalization as well, right? It may not be a noun, but if it comes in the beginning of the sentence, then probably you have to capitalize, right? So, so that session, the entire week, it was dedicated for nouns, and now we will move on to the next, which is pronoun, right? So, pronouns, which is very, very important, right? So, why this is important, and what is pronoun, and how we should use it, and what is the benefit? Why we have to use pronouns as well, right? Can we not do without pronouns, right? So these are the questions which we will dwell upon today, right? So that is what. Okay, so first thing first is like pronoun. So now, if I ask Shakti, what is noun, Shakti?
Noun is a name, sir. Person name, proper noun.
Only name, or what are the other things which comes?
Name, particular place, particular place, like that.
Like that, very good. So name, place, things, or particular brand, or maybe a company name, anything which is particular, which is not common, which is proper. So that is what it is, noun. So well done, Shakti. So this is what it is, noun, right? So that is what we talked about. So that is nouns. So now what is pronouns? So pronouns is like so let's look at here before I get into slide. So let me explain a little bit, and then we will go on to the next slide, which will explain what is pronouns. See, for example, let's talk about we both here, because we both are here. So I and Shakti, or Shakti and I, we work with Desi Crew. I have met Shakti. I have not met Shakti even once, though I have spoken to him several times. So Shakti is very tedious and very studious in terms like work. So what I'm using is like Shakti, Shakti, Shakti again and again and again, right? So what will happen is like, this is where what happens when you write or when you say. So instead of saying the same thing, it could be any proper noun, right? If you're talking about, for example, Taj Mahal. So Taj Mahal is a beautiful structure. Taj Mahal was built by, right? So maybe, right, instead of using the same Taj Mahal, if you want to use it, you certainly can. But there is another thing which we can use, maybe Shakti or Taj Mahal or maybe any other particular noun can be replaced with pronouns. So that is what it is, right? And sometimes what happens is like, if you, like for example, we spoke about Shakti, the name. any name. So if you keep using the same, suppose in a para, this particular name comes 10 times. So 10 times will you say the name Shakti, Shakti, Shakti? No. So instead of that, we can use letters, right? Small, tiny letters, and these are all called pronouns, right? So that is what it is. So if you see this particular slide itself, so if I'm talking about Shakti, right? So what I could say is like he, right? He. So if I talk about Taj Mahal, right? This structure was built, this monument, right? So this way you can use these pronouns instead of using the same nouns again, or maybe proper nouns again and again and again. So that is what it is. I hope it is very simple, very clear as well, right? So trying to explain again, nouns we know, any name, place, animal, thing, that, this, and everything is name. Pronouns is like instead of saying the nouns, right, which could be a common noun or a proper noun as well. Instead of that, you can use, if those nouns are used in a sentence several times, what you could do is like you can use pronouns. So these are some of the pronouns which you can see in the slide, which is I, right? So I went for a movie, right? So I did this. So that I itself is definitely it's a pronoun. So you, right? So so Suresh, you remember we went to that movie? Yeah, I do remember. You did this thing also. So instead of saying Suresh, you did this thing also. Suresh, you did that. Suresh, you did this thing. You did that, right? So these are the things which we can use. So similarly, he, she, it, I spoke about this, we, together, they. So these are all pronouns. So these are the things which we use when we write, but we may not know that this is a pronoun or maybe this is a noun and stuff like that. So that is what we are trying to learn here, right? I always, when we do the English, detached English classes as well, I don't focus too much into grammar, right? The reason why I don't do is like lack of time. Another very important thing is like there are good to know things, but without these good to without this good to do things as well, good to know things as well, you still can manage. You can still sail through this language which is called English, right? So we focus on the basic primary skills which is required or which will be highlighted when you write, right? So those are the things which we can eliminate, as I said, because lack of time. And also another very important thing is like because this training happens in an organization, right? It is not like a proper training institute where they can teach you. And I always feel grammar is good to know, but grammar will never make you confident, right? Grammar will never make you confident. Grammar will never make you eloquent. Grammar will probably help you in a lot of things. It's good to know. I'm not saying it's not important, but for that, there are different skills which is required, right? And that can be only built through interactive sessions and where you make the individual speak, right? Listen and do activity, right? Which is also called activity-based learning. Okay, so let's moving on to the next slide. We have another 5 minutes. So what is pronoun and why, right? Why pronouns and examples? I think I have explained the entire lot. So as I mentioned, pronoun is used in the place of a noun. So I did explain that, right? Where I don't want to use a noun. It could be any noun. Could be common or a proper noun. Let's leave that aside now, right? Any noun, I don't want to use this, right? For example, let's I spoke about two proper noun: Shakti, name; Taj Mahal, the monument. So let's use a common noun: chair, right? So how can I use instead of chair something, right? So when you say chair, right? So it is a noun. It's a common noun. We don't know the name of that particular chair. So I bought this chair in 2003. This chair has actually it's so good, right? It has served almost like 20 plus year, right? This chair cost me this. This chair, this chair, this chair. How many times you will say this chair, right? So you can say it instead of. So when you say the subject is very clear, we are talking about the chair. So instead of that, you can use it, right? It was bought for this particular price. I bought this for, or it this. I bought this for this particular price. I bought it in T Nagar, Ranganathan Street, right? So these are the things I can say along with that. Instead of using the chair, chair, chair again, I can use this, right? I hope it is more clear, right? So this is what it is. If pronoun is used in the place of a noun, it substitutes the noun in a paragraph, or right. So in a paragraph, it substitutes, right? So when you're speaking as well, you can substitute, but when you write as well, right, or in a paragraph as well, it can substitute, right? Avoid. Why do we do to avoid repetition of the noun over and over, right? So it is used to avoid the repetition, right? Repeating the same thing over and over again. Suppose it's a huge para. Suppose it's a novel, right? We're talking about one particular character in the novel. How many times you will use that person's name in the novel, right? Or the novel is something about another thing. Leave the individual. Another thing. Maybe you are writing a story about a tiger, right? Maybe Machli, the popular tiger, which is no more, right? So Machli was followed all over India in terms like, right, because how it survived, how it brought up cups and all, right? So I'm writing a book about Machli, this particular tiger. If I say Machli, 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 how many times I will do? So you will avoid repetition of the noun over and over again. And some examples of personal nouns are, right? So what are these personal nouns? We saw in the first slide as well. We will dwell upon this in length and detail as well. So we'll come to know about it. So one is like I, you, he, she, we, they, him, her, he, again she is repeated, right? Us and them, right? So these are some of the stuffs which can be so which is all your pronouns, right? So there are more as well. So this is what it is. So it's a gist of it, right? So this is precisely what it is. So I hope this is clear. So as I said, I don't think so you will have any sort of grammatical issues while speaking. Of course you can't, right? Speaking, you can make error. How you can make error? You can make error like you're not grammatically right as well. Yeah, that counts as well, right? But when writing, like in common noun and proper noun, you will make an error because if you don't capitalize that, right? But here there is no such error, right? No such error. If you want to say still the Taj Mahal several times, you can say. But will it be good for the listeners when you write? Will it be good for the readers? So that's a big question, right? So that's the precise reason. And this pronoun are there in other languages as well. It is there in Tamil or Kannada or maybe in Hindi as well, right? So you will use this. So this is the same thing which we have in English and other languages as well, right? And this is used so that we can avoid the repetition. So what is pronouns, right? So pronoun is used in the place of a noun. And why we use this? Because to avoid the repetition, and there are several pronouns, and then we will talk about the types as well. There are more than 10 kinds, right? Some say 11, some say 8 and 10 kinds and stuff like that. We will talk about this and a little bit more on pronouns in the upcoming class, which is tomorrow. Right. So any doubts, Shakti, you have so far? I know the answer.
No doubt, sir.
So if somebody asks you what is pronoun, what you would say? How would you explain? You somebody asks, okay, did you attend today's class? Yes, I did attend. Right.
Yes.
So what is pronoun? So how will you explain that? Oh, Rashmi is also here. Okay, fantastic. So how will you explain to them?
It is substitute a noun for noun.
It is substitute
to use the proper noun or noun.
Okay, see, Shakti, when you explain no, you should explain like explaining to a 4 or 5 year old kid, right? So you think I'm a 4 year, 5 year old kid. So how will you explain pronoun? I don't know anything about pronoun. You can use example, you can use everything, and you need to explain it to me.
Explain, it's my name Shakti. I use my in a paragraph. My name not repeated. Example for I use E. So like that.
Okay, so what is the definition of pronoun? How would you explain?
Pronoun is used to replace a noun.
Fantastic. It is used in the place of noun. We don't want to replace it. Instead of a noun, we are using. Well done, Shakti. So I think some sort of touch, no, which was there in the English thing in explaining, the things. So that is coming back. Rashmi, good to see you because I was in the full screen mode. And so good to see you. So yeah, if you find time, you keep coming. I know you were busy as well. So how are you
Yes.
doing? All good?
Yes, sir. Fine. How about you, sir?
Yeah, I'm also doing good. So when did you join? You joined just now or before? When?
After 4 minutes, sir.
Okay. So anything you want to share? Whatever you listen. What is pronoun? If somebody asks you, how will you explain to them with some examples?
Pronouns are the words those are used for noun to avoid their repetition.
Okay, fantastic. So can you give me one example, Rashmi?
He, she, it, them, us.
Fantastic. So these are the words, and this can be used in the sentence. Very good. So good to have you, Rashmi. And Shakti is always there, and sometime Srilekha also comes in. And so we will try to pull in more and people. So it will become a little bit interactive, and it will be good. And then because if I keep in a monologue, do these things and go off, then it will not be interactive. So since this is going as an email as well, where I'm sure our crewmates are watching these emails, so which is documented as well. So it will be good if you do in an interactive way, which is absolutely good. Great. So the concept of this particular program is short, which is 15 minutes. So I can see that we have just exceeded by a couple of minutes or more than that. So thanks again, Shakti. Well done. Fabulous. And I hope the quiz will also go right to everybody. So please take the quiz. And so that is what I will say. And good to see Rashmi. I hope if you find time, you can also join us because we have Monday to Friday.
Yes,
Right?
sure.
Okay, fantastic. So thank you, everybody, and thank you to the listeners. And so we come to an end of this particular session. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye. Bye, Rashmi.